Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Jana is a business counselor, a consciousness coach, motivational speaker, and meditation guide, multi-trained in coaching and change management. She works with people and companies from all over the world. As consciousness creator, she empowers her clients to access the inner compass of genuine identity. Thus, they shift from drifting to steering, igniting self-determined business development in a world full of changes, and thrive on common grounds of business, purpose, and purpose of profession. She's a founding member of the J. Shetty Certification School for Life Coaching. She runs the Magic Monday Meditation of PSSM Global, an international live meditation session, and her central theme is the profound effect of authentic connection to oneself and others. And her talk will be about consciousness in business and its essential effect on business development. Jana,
Thank you so much, Michelle.
You're very welcome, Dani. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's a huge honor to be here. And my heart is already singing. I'm already hooked on Gaia Network, I must say, because a lot of things that Alexander said just resonate that highly. And some of them you will also find within what I'm going to talk about with you today. So thanks to each and every one of you out there. I don't have a clue whether it is one person or 10 persons or 100, but it doesn't matter, because what I want to tell you is coming from my purpose, but on the other side from experience, and also, yes, from knowledge that I gained from training and experience. And I found out that it is hugely important to shift in companies to more consciousness from inside, for bringing companies to a way of steering instead of drifting in this world and in the current world as well. And I know that it takes huge courage to get there, because so many people are not used to it, and they rather try to keep the distance to that, not knowing that it comes from concerns or fears. But I hope that with my presentation today, I can give you some good reasons, or show you where are good reasons and why there are good reasons to bring more consciousness in all sizes of business. So what is it that I brought with me today for you? First of all, it's some slides, because I want to let you know about what I'm talking about with some visual keys as well. As I say, I'm working with companies in many different sizes. I started in a huge company in Germany, actually have been there for a lot of years, has more than 100,000 employees. And I have been working as business, let's say, developer in the beginning. And meanwhile, I call it more of a business actualization that I'm working on in very different sizes, from, as I said, hundreds of people to 20 people, 50 or one person. But what I got aware of was it's always, again, very similar blockings that keep people from moving forward. And that's what I'm talking about today. The world rapidly has changed within the last, let's say, 20 years. We are in a VUCA world, meanwhile. It's a good way to describe what's happening, because the surroundings in the world are really very dynamic. V stands for volatility. Things change continuously. What is true today isn't maybe true tomorrow. Products that are a success on the market today can be worthless tomorrow. Look at BlackBerry, on top of the market. Within 2 years' time, they died when the iPhone was launched, right? There is huge uncertainty. We live with a prospect for surprise. It's impossible to predict everything anymore and how markets will evolve. Due to globalization, small causes can have huge impact worldwide. Look at how one bank shook the world's economy to the foundation in 2008. And while it's relatively easy to explain all these events after the effects, few experts predict them, right? There's huge complexity in life, meanwhile. Simple cause and effect chains have been replaced by complex interconnected forces and events. For example, look at marketing, look at bringing yourself and what you want to bring to the world in front of the world. In the past, an advertiser bought an advertising space, maybe in print media, radio, or TV, and reached the audience that he wanted to target. Today's programmatic advertising is a labyrinth of complex bidding systems to get the right advertisement on the right screen to the right person. So the possibilities are endless for all of us, but the realization is highly complex. How to do it and what to do first. And then there's ambiguity. You can easily find convincing but totally contradictory information for any assertion. How much meat is good for you? Or is it better to be a vegan? What's the cost of nuclear versus wind energy, for example? Right? You find so many different opportunities about that. Old certainties have disappeared. And because of complexity and unpredictability, many leaders avoid taking position, making decisions, and taking actions. How can we, in a world like that, come to a place again where we make the right decisions? Because achieving success in this changing climate necessitates new approaches. What is the right approach to steer business in a positive way, in a contributing way, and in a way that helps business as well as the world? For adaptable organizations, VUCA means a practical code of awareness, openness, and readiness, right? Demonstrating agility, making the right decisions quickly, limited information, fragmented and unstructured data. It's not the world when you can make market researches for years and then decide how to go on with things. Sensing and responding rapidly and swiftly to changes and exploring new opportunities, that's really, really important. And the belief in the company itself to truly be able to do so as well. But making decisions and following through with aligning action is such a huge challenge, right? Some examples. If you're employed, think of your own company. How many times did one trend or change idea follow on the other without effects, sometimes even contradictory? And as a business leader, let's go back this way. And as a business leader, if you're owning a business, do you know these areas in your business that feel as if you're drifting instead of steering? Although you know they're important, something keeps you back from stepping up for the deployment, the development you want to make. You want to start and you can't follow through. You just feel overwhelmed, the lack of ability to make clear decisions, or you make decisions but simply can't stick to them because fears and doubt make you deciding differently. And this development can even come to a place where you see that this huge topic, this important topic of your business is somehow you're serving that topic instead of owning it. Maybe you know this. Why? Where does that come from? I found that out in a lot of work with different, very, very, very different companies. We need different approaches to deal with VUCA. And there is an approach of one of the Bill George of the Harvard Business School saying that a response for the new VUCA world comes from vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability. And as I said, my heart just started to sing when Alexander said that they took a month to design the mission, to know about the vision. I will get to that later. But that's exactly one thing what it is about for a successful business. This, to successfully unfold these abilities and put them into sustainable action, we have an additional pillar in business success that is of significant importance, but we were not aware of it so far because it wasn't too obvious in the old times. And according to self-actualization, which is the top of the Maslow's pyramid for individuals, I call this pillar business actualization. Because what we need yes, definitely is business development, but we need business actualization as well. For a long time, companies could create successful businesses with putting effort in business development. It was about tasks and processes, growing opportunities long term with the market developing long term, controlling systems help, and figures for financial forecasting. But all of this is gone in the world meanwhile. Continuity is not given anymore. It sticking with that behavior leads to procrastination and redirection. And to only focus on business development is just not helping you anymore for making decisions and having the courage to steer in this world. In VUCA times, self-actualization has huge impact. A small aspect of business actualization has been taken in account with training and enabling, job training, management enabling, yes. But what I want to say is, for an adaptional organization, there needs to be continuous activities on different levels of business actualization. And due to the short time we have, I will not focus on all the 4 aspects that I showed you about vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability. I will go in depth for 2 of them, and I will only scratch the other 2. So let's come back to the wonderful topic of vision. Let's look at the question of vision. What is it that makes a vision so important, and specifically a conscious vision coming from within? Because there's a huge difference between making beautiful words and pictures for a vision that is like a packaging, or a vision driven from the core of an organization. If you really want to have a vision that is affecting on your business, you need to have a vision that comes from within. This helps you to have the ability to see through the chaos and have an understanding where your organization stands and where you can get to a point you want to go to, right? But you cannot only focus on where you want to go. If you don't know where you are, who you are, and what you stand for, you don't know where to go, right? If you want to go from Munich to Hamburg, that's fine if you're in Munich. But if you want to go to Hamburg, not knowing that you're in Munich, how to go there, right? So you really need to know where you are. Because if you lose the connection to yourself and also to business purpose, the self of business purpose, you lose yourself in the world. And the world is so unstable, meanwhile, so changing that you are lost in every influence that comes from the outside. We are still really good in getting all the figures together to understand, or let's say, to be aware of what's happening and what might come up. But there is a huge overwhelm of this data if you don't have your core mission and if you don't understand about it. So leaders and businesses and all the people within businesses, not only the leaders, need to create clarity around the direction coming from the core of an organization. And that helps you to refuse letting external events pull you off your course. The vision from within must be your true north. Whether it's about small business or big business, doesn't matter. In a suitable way, you have to answer this question for defining your mission. Who am I? With my values, with what I believe in, what is my purpose? How can I serve with that purpose? And what do I therefore want? And for bigger companies, the questions might be, what are our values? What are our beliefs of how to make an impact? What is the core service that we bring to the world? What is the goal we want to achieve with offering that core service? In the end, it's the same content. It's just a slightly different kind of question, right? And many businesses have these answers when they start their business. But with time and everyday business tasks, people lose the awareness of that. And sometimes even purpose can change, or maybe the purpose stays the same, but the service you give to the world might become different. So this is business actualization, the conscious process of building a vision, and it's inevitably for creating strategies and tactics for success in a VUCA surrounding. And why do I say so? Why does that help making decisions and to stick with them? Without a clear vision from inside, you fall into analysis paralysis and the paradoxon of choice from outside. There's way too much for you to decide on what is the right thing to do and what not to do, because you don't have a measuring stick or a possibility to measure, because you don't have what the measurement comes from within, right? And so this is where your mission helps you. And if you don't have that, you either procrastinate decisions or you make decisions and decide differently very, very soon after. I have been a change manager in companies, and I know how all these change projects are rolling in and out, and then the next one is coming in and out. And it's not coming from the purpose, and it's not because people don't stick to it, because it's not coming from the true inside of an organization. And there is another thing which is really important. One of the few things that truly conquers fears and doubts. Passion beats fears and doubts. If you focus on the now with your passion, you can beat fears and doubts. So this truly helps to stick to the decisions you made coming from your vision and following through the actions consequently, right? Because we don't have to discuss making decisions and strong choices always will be connected with courage. And courage is only necessary when there are doubts and fears in between. So it's normal to have that, but to stick with it and to follow through, you need this direction coming from inside. Let's have a look at the second one that I really want to talk to you about with. It's adaptability. It's probably the most important aspect of consciousness from self-actualization. And it influences adaptability in a huge way in our organization. And once again, I would like to refer to Alexander, because he was talking about growth mindset and fixed mindset before, and what changed for him when he changed the mindset, right? What actually keeps companies and organizations from changing is that many people are highly resistant against change. I think that's not a surprise. That's not new, right? We all know about that. The most tricky aspect is not to have the right plans and tactics. It's about empowering management and employees for rapid adoption. It's often tried as a mindset shift with change management, right? And it's a valid try. And it's valid for employees as well as for business owners, because when business owners started with a thriving business and idea, and they come to the point where they need to change, they can be highly resistant for change as well. And change and growth are uncomfortable, yes. But why are there some people that still can embrace the uncomfortable part? And why are there way more others that try to avoid it as good as possible? So as I said, there is a common discussion about fixed mindset and growth mindset. Honestly, I don't need to go into detail too much. I think that fixed mindset means, we know that it means I'm only good for a few things, I can't learn this, I avoid challenges. And growth mindset has to do with I can learn it, I'm up for feedback, I'm open for trying out new things. Honestly, makes sense to everyone, right? So how does it come that we don't simply change from fixed to growth mindset when we get to know about it? Why didn't you just change it after you heard about it the first time? Be honest. I can tell you, because it's not about the obvious part of the mind, but about the subconscious part of our belief systems and the connections and the feelings that are connected with this. The root of resistance always is fear. And there is a bigger reality around fixed and growth mindset, because fixed mindset and growth mindsets are parts of bigger belief systems. Fixed mindset is part of scarcity belief system. Change resistance and resistance to the adaptability come from the fear of not being good enough to change in the way that is needed, of not having enough after that change, of maybe being left behind. That is the subconscious start of the fears that lead to fixed mindset. That makes people try to keep what they have due to their fear, and that there will be the belief that there will be too little in the end for them. People who are open to adaptability have an abundance belief system, right? They believe that they are enough. They believe that they are enough to learn something new. They believe that there will be enough for them in the end, as well as for the others. So to open up people for adaptability and lower change resistance, there needs to be a constant work, or let's say grow of belief systems that they are constantly aware of getting from scarcity belief system to abundance belief system. 90% of what we do daily is caused by subconsciousness. Only 10% comes from consciousness. So you need to reprogram your belief systems. And that's what Alexander said. He started with fixed mindset and growth mindset. And he came to that point where he found out about different beliefs and about things that are different when it's about spirituality and how the things run. Indeed, that there is everything in a way is already there, and that the nature of our true life, or our lives, make manifesting possible in a way. So there need to be training activities for skills that are valid and a necessary point in adapting for an organization. But specifically for short-term adaptability, it more needs to work on the abundance belief system. And this goes for individual business owners as well as for employees and management. And this is not about having business consultants. And I don't say it's good to have business consultants for business development, but this is coaching, this is counseling, this is finding leaders in more spiritual senses. This is letting go of trying to be right or wrong all the time. So that's huge, right? And I had more time than I was granted, so I will only really scratch the two next two ones very, very briefly. But this is a way how you get to a growth mindset, right? Identifying concrete negative beliefs, implementing positive opposite ones, replacing habits connected to scarcity. This is experiencing what happens if you don't let yourself run from scarcity. Moving into developing self-empowerment alternatives, consciously practicing gratitude. Gratitude is huge in shifting your mindset and your belief system. So this is how you can switch. And as I said, coaching, counseling are things that are really helpful there. What about courage? We take a brief look at that one only. It's so important for decision making. For making these decisions, as I said, if you need to face criticism, if you have to let go of people pleasing, making decisions and stick with them, you need to be really convinced by, I am enough, I am good enough, I am worthy. Even if I face criticism and these things, like, you don't see criticism as criticism anymore. You can see the feedback part in it, and you can maybe even see where people that criticize you come from an angle of fear. You can kind of put these things into different perspective. So again, what helps you here is, for example, coaching and meditation, because meditation brings you to a calm place where constant stream of thought that causes emotions is just lowering down, just an idea. And what about the understanding your company or organization? It means to have awareness of strengths and weaknesses. And this means you are allowed to, in a culture of consciousness and awareness, means something that has to do with trust in big ways, to drop the armor of perfection and be kind of self-revealing about vulnerable aspects as well. Being allowed to say, we are not capable of that alone. We are overwhelmed with certain aspects. We might need help in a way, right? That's huge. So many companies are not at that point. So self-revelation is a huge part of business development as well. And it also means to admit to blind spots, because that's normal, and to get external support for finding hidden strengths and weaknesses. Business consultants can do that in fact and figures. No doubt, they are important. But business coaches and business counselors help you to do that on aspects of business actualization. Training for new skills or business counseling for collaboration might be a next step in that. So now I'm going to close, and I thank you for all your attention. And I hope that I didn't take too much time here. Just want to say that consciousness activities in business actualization are so important criteria for thriving businesses in VUCA times. Big words have been said here already today. The right mindset, the right belief, trust. I really love this already. And so abundance belief system and genuine self-understanding of your purpose and your mission and your vision is really what helps you to get from drifting to steering. Thanks a lot.